everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything. You turn my morning to dancing, you turn my morning into dance. You turn my morning into dancing. You turn my morning into dancing. 'Cause your love changes everything. Your love changes everything. You turn my morning into dancing. You turn my morning into dancing. You turn my morning into dancing. 'Cause your love changes everything. Your love changes everything. Oh, there's something about your love, something about your love changes everything in my body. Oh, something about your love, something about your love changes everything. It changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything. It changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything. You turn my morning into dancing. 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 Something about your love, something about your love changes everything.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Man, the sun is shining. It is a beautiful, beautiful day outside. Thank you so much for popping in here, spending just a few moments with me today as we jump into scripture and strengthening our roots. We're going to be in Lamentations today, y'all. So jump over there in your Bibles, but I will be pulling it up on your screen. And then also, while I'm saying hi to folks, drop down there and let me know that you can hear me and see me just fine. It looks like everything is going good, but that's happened before. So let's say hi to some folks. And then we will jump on in. So we got Chuck B in the house. Good morning, sir. Vivian Davis. Good morning. Dr. Colleen. Ken Gooch. Good morning, guys. Trish. Good morning out there on X. We got Connie down there in Greendale. Good morning. Good morning. Jody. Good morning. Karen Thompson. Good morning. Good morning. And Chuck B says we're good. Perfect. All right, so we're in Lamentations today. So Pastor Tom was like, "Hey, you could choose your own verse for the day," and I didn't choose a verse, but um, I just picked Lamentations because, like, so it's just been like this idea of we're the two natures, right? And this like wrestle, and the first person that I think about when I think about who wrestled, with these two natures, more than Jeremiah, right? Jeremiah was the weeping prophet, and so if you read, his books, he has a lot of like really highs, and he has a lot of really lows, and so I just thought, man, let's jump on in, and we won't get through the whole thing really because of time, but I would probably end around the 22nd verse, 23rd verse. But yeah, so let's dive on in here. Jeremiah, we're gonna be in verse chapter 3. We're gonna start at the beginning. All right. Oh, let's see. Look, you can even see my face still. All right, here we go. Y'all ready? All right. I am the man who has seen affliction by the rod. Or so first off, let's do some kind of setting of the stage. So uh, Jeremiah is known as the weeping prophet. Jeremiah wrote. Bert Reggiani jumped on here, and Teresa Mason. Good morning to you guys. Thanks for popping on. So Jeremiah is the weeping prophet. He wrote Lamentations. Lamentation is a lament, right? It's like uh, it's really a song. It is written. It's written. What do they call those things? I can't remember. You're gonna have to ask Pastor Tom. It's the same. It's written the same way as like Psalm 19, Psalms 119, where a cryptic, maybe I don't remember. Basically, it goes through. So in Lamentations 1 through 3, or 1 through 2, they're like 22 verses, and there's 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet, and so each kind of verse starts with that letter for so that they can remember it easier easily, right? Anyways, I can't remember what the word is. Ask Pastor Tom, he'll know. But that's kind of, so this is like a song, but this is something that the Lord wanted, people to commit to memory, and so that's why they wrote it like that. But I don't even know where I was going with that. Oh yeah, so Jeremiah, he's in the midst of like, so Nebuchadnezzar is taking away people, and like the way the society was pretty much how the society is now, right? So they were sacrificing their kids to idols. Their worship had become pagan, and or yeah, they're worshiping, foreign gods and demonic stuff. Like everything that you can think that's happening in our world today was happening there. And it was crazy. Like it was, and so in the midst of that, Jeremiah was the one person that's saying, he was weeping, right? He's breaking at the things that are breaking God's heart. But he's being mocked for it, right? Like, so he's the only one standing and saying, hey, this isn't right, all the culture, everything else is going one way, and he's the one guy standing going this way, going against the popular thing, and he's being mocked for it. And so that's kind of the stage for where we're at tonight, or this morning. Tonight. Olivia, good morning. All right, so here we go. I am the man who has seen affliction by the rod of his wrath. He has let me. He has let me, and he has led me, sorry, and made me walk in darkness and not in light. So uh given what, the circumstances, he's like, all right, so not only I'm standing, I'm doing the right thing, I'm in this place where society has just gone crazy, they're doing all the worst things, um and I'm actually standing against that, but yet I'm all the wickedness, or all the, like, the trouble that the Lord is putting on all these people is also falling on me. Like, I'm not being separated. I'm not being spared from the wrath that is being poured out on this nation, right? And so um, he's made me walk in darkness and not in light. Surely he has turned his hand against me, and time again throughout the day. And so, because I'm pretty much going to stop at like every verse here, and just kind of talk through it a little bit. But I want us to, all of us have experienced some of what Jeremiah has experienced, and some of us we're at one point in one of these verses, we're gonna resonate. We're gonna be like, oh man, I was just there, or some of us are like, dude, I'm there right now, you know. And so some people are gonna grab this, like, man, I feel that way right now, or I felt that way before. Surely, like, I just feel like God has turned away, from me, time and time again. And because the enemy doesn't have new tricks, right? He does the same thing all the time, to all of us, and he tries to get us to think that our struggles are unique, and then we're on this little island, and nobody else has ever felt this way. Nobody ever has ever had to deal with this unique thing, and so we don't talk to folks. We don't reach out and seek help. But that's just a lie, right? So we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and by the words of our testimony. And so, man, we come to church, and we should bear it all. We should be as vulnerable as we uh, that's to be the most vulnerable we ever are, is at the church, because there's people who have a testimony, right? Who've come out of the things that we're currently facing, and that they can testify and prophesy to us, and show us that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Anyways, that's a sidebar. That's a little extra. Let's keep going. So, verse 4. He has aged my flesh and my skin, and broken my bones. Right. So Jeremiah is like, man, through all this chaos, through all this calamity, like, I feel like it's aged me, right? Like, I look a lot older than I should. My bones, I'm achy. I'm not that old, but man, I feel it, and I look it, right. And so it's like, man, I'm so stressed, I'm so down, that it's literally aging me faster than I should be. And then he says, he has bes- beseeched me and surrounded me with bitterness and woe. Um, Come on, has anybody felt this before? He has set me in dark places like the dead of long ago. Right, man. He feels like he's in this place, um, like he's in this tomb, right? Like that. That's just crazy. Um, but I'm sure somebody has felt this before. He has hedged me in. He has hedged me in so that I cannot get out. He has made my chain heavy. Like, so have you ever been in a place, right, where you just feel like, not claustrophobic, but you feel like there's no escape. Like, I can't get out of this. Like, this situation, this circumstance is too great, too strong. I don't have the solution. I'm not wise enough or strong enough to get myself out of this place. I'm stuck, is what he's feeling. And he says these chains, like this weight, is just this weightiness is heavy. Even when I cry and shout, he shut out my prayer. I know I've felt that before, where it's just like, man, I'm praying over this thing, and it seems like nothing is changing, nothing is moving. I don't feel like God is even hearing me, right? Like, I feel like God is so far away. And Hey, Pastor Tom's coming on in. but I've been there so many times where I just felt like, man, like God is so far away. He is he verse 9. He has blocked my ways with Hughes. I can't pronounce that word. Stone. He has made my paths crooked. Um, so it's like, man, like he's not making this way easy. It's not making it like it's I can't. It's the way out of this thing isn't like a straight path. It's like, man, I'm turning left and right, and I'm not seeing it. So um, good morning, Pastor Tom.
Good morning.
We're in Lamentations.
You picked an exciting book.
I know it is so exciting. But
All the positivity.
The thing I love about Jeremiah is like he has these lows, these super lows, but then he also has these really big highs. And so we're going through Lamentations 3. And just like I'm telling them, man, like all of us at some point resonate with Jeremiah.
Oh, without a doubt.
And so we're in verse 10, but we're gonna keep going. So he has been to me a bear lying in wait, like a lion in ambush. Like how many of us have ever felt like that? Like we're going through life and it's just like, man, around every single curve or every single turn, there's an adversary. It's like every time I turn a corner, like, there's something else I got to face, right? And he has turned aside my way and torn me in pieces. He has made me desolate. He has bent his bow and set me up as a target for the arrow. I know I felt that way before. Like man, like I'm the target, right? Like everybody's just coming after me. It's like he's the target for the arrow. He has caused the arrow of his quiver to pierce my loins. I have become the ridicule of all my peer. And they taunt me and they're taunting songs all the day long. Like these jokers are making songs about him. But yeah, like man, I was just Reese. We went camping the other week, and Reese comes back and he's all upset because the kids are taunting him. They're making fun of him, right? Like this stuff happens in life. We just feel like, and in Jeremiah's day, like he's the only one saying the right thing. Like, hey, you guys are doing the wrong stuff, right? And everybody else is just giving away in the culture and just going with the flow, and he's the one standing. But yet the enemy's got him in this place where all he can see is the negative, right? And so this is where he is. And so he filled it's taunting me all day long. Verse 15, he has filled me with bitterness. He has made me drink wormwood. And so it's like, man, all this stuff that I'm affecting is affecting me. Like I'm filled with bitterness, right? Has anybody ever felt that? He has also broken my teeth with gravel and covered me with ash. Man, it's just like I'm getting pounded. I'm he's just he's just going low and low and low. You have moved, and y'all are probably like, why is he reading this? We're going somewhere, y'all. We're going somewhere.
There is a destination.
You have moved my soul far from peace, and I have forgotten prosperity. Like y'all, I haven't even thought about goodness. I haven't thought about. I can't even remember prosperity. And he said, and I said, my strength and my hope have perished from the Lord. Has anybody ever like felt like they just given up on God and what? It was just like I can't even have hope in the midst of this, right? Like I don't even know if God, I don't know if God's hearing me, and I don't see him moving on my behalf. And so we're just like kind of losing sight of those things. And then he's like, remember my affliction and roaming the wormwood, the wormwood and the gall. And I read this in a different translation before, but this is just like you picture like he just can't get it out of his mind, right? Like he's remembering this thing. It's like causing him it's just like the enemy is just keeping this in the forefront of his mind, like all day long. Like he's just reminded, like everything he's all this turmoil and all these things is just stuck in his mind. All he can think of is negative. All he can see is the negative. And so that's kind of where he's at. And then verse 20, my soul still remembers and sinks within me. So I said that early. Remember my affliction and roaming in the wormwood and all the gall. My soul still remembers. It's just still in there. It's just I can't shake it, and sinks within me. This I recall to my mind. But here we go, guys. This is where we land in this thing. And I love this, right? Because he's at rock bottom. Obviously, there's these first 20 verses, right? Like he can't get any lower than this, right? And so what does he do in the midst of that, in the midst of all these things, right? He says, this I recall to my mind. Like this is an active thing. Like he's saying, God, I got to pull this in, right? Like this isn't like I'm not going to just sit here in this midst, but what am I going to do? I'm going to pull back into remembrance. I'm going to pull into my mind, right? I'm going to pull not only into my mind, I'm going to pull it into my heart, right? Therefore, like so verse 21, this I recall to my mind. I force myself to think about. Therefore, I have hope. Woo, come on, y'all. Through the Lord's mercies, we are not consumed. Come on. And so, all right. So now you're gonna see it. So I cause myself to remember this thing. I pull this into my mind. I pull this into my heart. Right. Through the Lord's mercies, not mercy. Right. Like not like through the Lord mercy. Like mercies, multiple. It is plural. Like God is. I'm pulling back into my remembrance all these things that God has done through my life, all his mercies are just overwhelming me, right? I'm pulling all of them in. We are that I'm not consumed, right? And so, yeah, I've been gone through this, I've gone through that, but I'm starting to remember, wait, I'm still breathing, I'm still alive, right? I'm not consumed by these things. I may go through some stuff, but I'm not destroyed. I'm not consumed because his compassion fails not. Ooh. And oh my goodness, I dropped off the S. It's compassions fail not. It's also plural. They are new every morning. Come on, y'all. They're new every single morning. Great is your faithfulness. Ah.
Who would have ever thought those verses were in Lamentation? Right? We quote them all the time.
Yeah.
This is why he says in Deuteronomy, do not forget.
Yeah, come on.
Speak these things to your children and to your own self. Oh, because time's going to come.
Yeah.
When you're going to feel like you got run over. You didn't. I'm still here and I'm still faithful.
Still faithful.
It's his, wow. It's remembering his faithfulness. And always wrapped in mercy.
Come on.
Compassion.
Come on. It's so good. It's so good. And we're running out of time, y'all. We got to start prayer in a second.
Right into prayer.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's just so good, right? Like he's causing himself in the midst of chaos. He's like, you know what? I'm done thinking about this. I'm gonna say, right. And we've been talking about the two natures in this wrestle. And so he's like, you know what? I'm done with the wrestle. I'm done focusing on what the enemy wants me to focus on. And I'm going to cause myself to remember the faithfulness of the Lord and his mercies that are new every single day. And that's how he came out of it. And so everything, if you've resonated with anything that Jeremiah has said in these verses, now we resonate with this, that great is God's faithfulness and he is for us. And so we can cause, in the midst of those things, we can cause ourselves to remember his mercies. We can cause ourselves to remember his faithfulness and his compassion towards us. And that's how we get out of those things. That's how we redeem are redeemed from those things. So
that's pretty good. The Apostle Paul suffered the most probably as an early Christian.
Yeah.
I walk by faith and not by sight.
Mm.
Sometimes I say, Pastor Tom always says, sometimes I see better when my eyes are closed. Because sometimes we got to shut our eyes and our head and our hearts to what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
And remember what is happening in another kingdom.
Yeah.
And that's what Jeremiah's world's upside down, just like ours.
Yep.
And he's trying to preach a message that no one's listening to.
Mm-hmm.
Man, is he alone.
Whew.
But he's not alone.
He's not alone.
He just has to close his eyes and remember.
Come on.
Wow.
Ah,
What a
so
word.
good. So good. So that's it, y'all. That is it. Good morning. Good morning. All right. That's it. We'll be back here in a couple minutes for some prayer. All right. Peace, guys.